Black Bottom, the Paradise Valley. Now just an isolated row of introduction buildings, Detroit Hastings Street once published with life. From the 1920s through the 1950s, it was the beating heart of Precious Valley, an African-American community that grew, thrived, and defined Black culture life in Detroit. The neighborhoods stretched from Jefferson to Warren, with Hastings Street as its commercial spine. As Jewish families moved north and west, African Americans migrating from the first settled into the small wooden houses leading Hastings. They brought dreams, determination, and the hope of the Motor City. Soon the new cultures opened drugstores, bakeries, doctor's office business that became first for Black entrepreneurs in segregation Detroit. Black Bottom was a mixed area. Italian lived there and many Black folks. I also thought Black Bottom ran from Graduate to Shane, all the way back to Congress. Many believed the name Black Bottom came from the African Americans who lived there, but its roots go deeper. The name refers to the rich, dark topsoil of the region, a reminder that the land itself once nourished 19th century German, Irish, and Jews immigrant farmers. As they moved on, African Americans arrived, and by the 1930s and 40s, Black Bottom had bloomed into a predominantly Black neighborhoods full of life. Residents remembered rent parties, Friday and Saturday night, staple during hard times. Someone would roll a piano into a crowded living room. One musician, Nubs, playing boogie woogie, even with his fingers cut off at the first joint. For kids listening through floorboards, those nights become magical memories they carry forever. As Black Bottom developed, it grew into a self-sufficient world. But Precious Valley, its commercial sibling, became famous nationwide for its music. Detroit played a critical role in the rise of jazz. Though while often segregation, the city's growing Black community shaped the sound of generalization. Many residents had their first encounter with music at home, hearing a church piano or listening to a family member who knew traveling musician. The gray stone ballroom stood tall above Detroit's music scenes. Jan Gold Kent's White Orchestra and the Mac Cadets Cotton Pickers, a Black group, both made the Greystone Lecture. Though audience remained segregation until after World War II. Schools like Miller Intermediate and Miller High became cornerstone of Black Bottom. They weren't just educational centers, they were the heart of youth life. Some of Detroit's future stars walked those halls. Basketball legend Charlie Primus, jazz icon Milt Jackson, beloved singer Della Reese, and future mayor Coleman A. Young. Whole family settled in Black Bottom, where they arrived from Alabama. By the 1940s and 50s, Hastings Street was alive. Shops, restaurants, theaters, nightclubs. Nearly all Black owned lined both sides of the street. A shopper could find anything they needed. Doctors practiced medicine, hotels, and night spots buzzed with music. Bars kept pianos, even broken ones, ready for the next set. And then there were the clubs. From the Horseshoe Lounge to the 606, from the Turf Bar to the Sporty Large, the performance like Duke Ellington, Billie Holiday, and Cap Calloway lit up the night. Local blues artists such as Baby Boy Warren and Bubba J. Keats built their names here. A young Barry going to spend his days running numbers and his events smoking in world-class music. Lessons that the world later shaped Motown. Musicians remember sneaking into clubs as teenagers, slipping through back doors just to hear a chorus or catch a glimpse of greatness. They play in every bar that had piano, learning from the bands who were still unknown but on their way to fame. Jackie Wilson, Little Will John, and John Lee Hooker, who worked at 4 by day and played the blues on Hastings by night. Black Bottom and Precious Valley formed culture ecosystem, one that nurtured talent and shaped the city's identity. Rather, families had lived there for decades or just arrived from the South. The community became a powerful incubator for Black excellence. But everything changed in the 1950s. In the name of Upper Rio, the city labeled Black Bottom a slum. Under the Following Highway Act, homes and businesses were seized and demolished to make a way for the Chrysler Freeway, I-3075. Groundbreak in 1959. What followed was devastating. 1,000 homes gone, 200 buildings erased. Church, theaters, clubs buzzled under the promise of progress. What was left of Hastings Street lost its name, swallowed by the freeway that cut the neighborhood in half. Property values dropped, Pulitzer increased. Families were pushed to the farther east side or into Barstow housing projects. By the mid-1960s, Black Bottom was no more. Intimate and community life shifted north, first to Oakland Avenue, then across Woodward. Precious Valley's legacy lived on, but its physical spaces disappeared. Still, for the four former residents, Black Bottom remains alive. Many can point to the exact block where they grew up to, graduate to Shane, all the way back to Congress. Even as highways remained the land, the people never forgot what it meant. Though erased on maps, Black Bottom enters in Detroit's culture memory. Its music, its businesses, its families, its stores. These remain powerful reminders of a community that thrives despite segregation, poverty, and displacement. Clubs like the Plains Club, the Silver Grill, Sporty Large, the Corner Bar, and the 3 Sixes drew world-class talent to Precious Valley. Artists who shaped American music, Duke Ellington, Cap Calloway, Billie Holiday, lit up the night. And among those giants was one of the earliest and most influential blues performers of them all, Ma Rainey, the mother of the blues. Touring across the country during the height of her career, Ma Rainey often performed in Detroit, a blazing Black entertainment district. When she came to Precious Valerie, the clubs packed wall to wall with people eager to see her commanding voice and and, and electric stage presence. Her shows full of humor, improvisation, and raw blues power became legendary moments for the community. Her appearances on Hastings Street brought national prestige to Black Bottom's music scenes. Musicians, some sneaking into clubs just to listen, seeing that Moretti perform live was life-changing. She reinforms the beliefs that Detroit wasn't just a stop on the map, it was a destination for great black music. Moretti was a part of a long line of identical performers who shaped the identity of Precious Valerie. From early blues innovators like her to later stars like John Lee Hooker, Wilson Pickett, and a young Barrier Gordon, observed the sound of the city. Black Bottom became a musical incubator that influenced the entire country. And this is my country project, Black Bottom.